Welcome to Double Drivel, an NBA podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Double Drivel. We are a weekly podcast offering a fan's perspective on the news and issues surrounding the NBA. Thank you for joining us. My name is Greg and I'm joined as always by my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers or email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. JT, what up, my friend?
Hello, Greg. I'm okay. I was better on Wednesday, and I wanted to do this on Wednesday, but you wouldn't let me do it. So now we're doing it on our normal day, and I'm just okay.
You were irrationally excited on Wednesday.
You're irrational.
The reason you were excited, though, was a pretty good one. The Jazz took it to the Rockets in Houston, which was nice to see. And your boy Ingles, high scorer. And all I could see around in all the channels was, who the hell is Joe Ingles? Was the big question that I heard multiple times.
Yeah, it was this coming out party. All y'all been sleeping on my man, but us loyal fans have been riding this train since it left Australia. So get on board or be left behind.
I heard him called British player Joe Ingles.
Jesus.
I heard him called all sorts of things.
I like when the announcers are like, when they beat around the bush, they say stuff like, he doesn't fit the profile of a typical professional athlete and things like that. That always makes me laugh.
Yeah. Shaq said it on TNT the other night. That guy does not look like a basketball player. He just straight up said it. There was no beating around the bush with Shaq. He's like, that guy don't look like he plays ball, but he does.
I will buy a Joe Ingles jersey before his time is done with the Utah Jazz, which I imagine he'll spend his entire career there.
You would hope, especially since places like the Clippers were dumb enough to, let him go and nobody wanted him. So he just kind of ended up in Utah, right?
Yeah. Did you know that the Clippers
suck? Are run poorly?
They clipped him. Clippers clip. They cut him from the roster, Greg, while his wife was on the way over to see him play his first game. She's in the air, and they gave him the axe. So he's always been salty towards the Clippers,
as he should be. Shitty organization, and that's shitty kind of behavior. So good for Joe Ingles and good for the Jazz. Not so much last night. Last night was Houston came to ball last night, and they weren't screwing around in Utah.
No, we got routed last night. They are a fantastic team, and we are without a point guard. So those things happen.
All right, we'll wait for the excuses later. We're going to get to the Eastern Conference semifinals first, though. We have the Cavs and the Raptors. You want to talk about making excuses? The Toronto needs to start making many, many, many excuses because it's gross. And the best thing that I saw so far is welcome to LeBronto. And it was just great. And there were all the dinosaur memes of, Toronto during the season, very scary. And then Toronto during the off season, and, they're not so scary. And, just very true because it's sad. Cavs are up 2-0, and both of those games were in Toronto. So just rough scene.
Yeah. It's with a heavy heart that this is all happening, Greg, because, man, I was really pulling for Toronto. I like their organization. I like Kyle Lowry, and I like DeMar DeRozan. I don't like Drake, who is like an honorary member of the team. And this is not good. This is not good for them because once they lose this series, which they obviously will, you cannot do it again with this squad, and you're gonna have to do something else, and that's gonna be a tough decision for Raptors management, and the fans are in for a bit of a roller coaster ride too, I feel.
What are they to think as an organization, though? They build a team that literally crushes during the regular season. They played great and just can't perform in the playoffs. How do you know how to build a team that's going to be good both places?
It's a great question. I don't know. I think you need to bring in some people that have done it before, because who are the guys on the Raptors leaning on and looking towards when they're uncertain? I think they're just looking at each other kind of lost. There needs to be some type of leader, and so hard to say, but DeRozan and Lowry, I don't think that that's the best role for them.
They seem like great players, but they're probably not leaders.
They're fantastic players, way above average, all-stars.
Yeah.
But something happens in the offseason. And, LeBron James, Greg, is the best player of a lifetime. And it's so fucked to have to, like, compare people to him, you know, because it really just sets the scale askew. But you got to do something. You got to compete. You can't just, you just can't lay him down and say, well, no, it's just LeBron. He's just going to bend us over again. Because you can't do that.
The Cavaliers didn't have a lead in that game in game one until overtime. That is insane. There's no way that they should have lost that game. LeBron always rises up to the occasion in that moment. The shots that he was hitting in the fourth quarter of game one, in the third and fourth quarter of game two, I mean, he was just absolutely, if it was a video game, he would have been on fire. It was absolutely disgusting. Every step back that he took, he was hitting. And all I ever say when I watch him, I turn to my son and I always say, damn, that guy is just good at basketball. It's just unbelievable. And I just always think, like, when I watched Michael Jordan, I never really appreciated that he wouldn't be as good at some point, or it would go away, or you really were watching one of the greatest people to ever play. And I have that appreciation when I watch LeBron, and it is unbelievable sometimes. And this series, definitely compared to last series, he's playing out of his mind. He's only got 2 turnovers, 1 in each game. So what does that
bonkers.
say?
That's fucking
Toronto,
insane.
He has his hand on the ball all the freaking time. So for him to only have 2 turnovers and for them to be up 2-0, no one's playing solid defense on him. At least the Pacers, they were working him. They had somebody on him. Who's doing that job on Toronto? Nobody. And they got worked so much more physical in the Indiana game that it's probably... this is probably a relief playing these guys because they're not smashing them on screens. They're not. Indiana was just nasty to them, and they wanted to win. And I don't feel that with Toronto.
Yeah, Greg. There has been this recurring theme with Toronto in the playoffs, and up until now, I think you could kind of find ways to circumvent what is the obvious, that this isn't working. And this season in particular, when they get swept, which I just can't help but think they will. There's not going to be any time left to make excuses. It's going to be time to blow this shit up and figure something out.
So the shocking thing, I think, is that both of these series in the East could technically be sweeps, and I don't think anybody would have called that on either set. The Celtics and the Sixers, it's been the same kind of thing. The Celtics have just been battling back in the games or holding the lead once they get it, and the Sixers just can't seem to get it all together to win versus a Celtics team that is missing so many people. Like, I just wonder what they would be like if they were at full strength. I hate the bastards so much, but they would be just absolutely crushing if they had everyone playing.
Yeah, I mean, but there's situations sometimes, Greg, where because certain players aren't available, other players are there and have the opportunity to step up, and their potential is brought to light. And that's what we're seeing in Boston. Terry Rozier.
They're doing next man up shit, though, like nobody else is doing.
It's the next level. Absolutely.
So, yeah, and Ben Simmons, not so much. 1 point in the game on Thursday in game 2. 1 point. He was sitting on the bench while some other guy I've never heard of played point guard. What is up?
Yeah. First-year player, or is he?
Allegedly.
Can you rely on someone like that? I mean, he's going to have bad games. He had a bad game. Had we done this on Wednesday, I would have been probably a little bit more strongly worded towards Ben Simmons, but my boy Mitchell did not have a great game yesterday. Rookies will have poor games. These type of things happen.
People can shut you down, as they like to say. The other team has coaches too. You know, they're trying also. So they're going to shut
Brad
down.
Stevens.
Shut down.
Brad Stevens, boy wonder. Everyone's lining up to spank him on the bottom because they so happy with what he's doing.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of good press out of all this. You know, he just gets to seem like Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, and then further to your point, Greg, about the Celtics missing their stars, there's so many fucking rumors floating around now about Kawhi to Boston and the trades that are possibly going to happen in the offseason because these guys, these bench players from Boston are playing so well. Some people are saying, like, you don't want to fuck with this too much. Like, maybe you just want to keep them where they are. Do you really need Hayward? Do you really need Kyrie? Maybe we can get some other pieces that would complement these guys better. And the trade rumors are flying wild.
Absolutely. But if you can move those guys, and I mean, even if you move the guys that are playing good, like Rozier and some of the other guys, get them out of there while the value's high, because you can't guarantee they're going to be playing this way even, next season, nonetheless in the playoffs next year. I think this is an aberration.
Yeah, I mean, and then also totally, and then sometimes when you mix up the lineups, players just have different roles, and maybe they're not as effective as they were. But as hard as it is for me to say, yeah, Boston's sitting pretty for the next several years. It looks like between assets that they have and then picks that they have and just options. So.
Yeah, if in your winning playoff games in the second round, Rozier and Tatum are your top scorers, and Rozier was number 2 in game 2. He was just 1 point under Tatum, so Rozier could have been the top scorer in both games.
Yeah, with your 2 all-stars.
And he's number 4 on the depth chart, Rozier. So it's like they are digging deep, and guys are playing. I hate them. God damn it.
God, I hate the Celtics.
Well. God, I hate him so much. That huge GE logo. They have the biggest logo on their jersey of any team in the goddamn league, and it's gross. I hate the logos on the jerseys anyway, but theirs is massive. Drives me freaking nuts. Stupid. All right, let's move on to the Western Conference. We can get back to the Jazz now. I know you're excited to talk about them. Series was 1-1 until they went back to went to Utah last night. And the game didn't exactly go the Jazz way. So now the Rockets are up 2-1. But what was going on last night?
Fucking not a lot, Greg. Just getting smoked. Guys, with game 2, the Jazz shot incredibly well. Joe Ingles was on fire, and the Rockets shot like shit. That's best case scenario for us. That did not hold up for game 3. Rockets were back on track. And then what do you do? I mean, goddamn, they just don't fucking miss. They shoot so many threes. They kind of slow down our defensive strength of Rudy and Derek Favors under the rim because they're so far away from the fucking rim. Pulls the guys out, and then that just kind of opens up the floor, and they have options. So they are a more complete team. I think the Jazz might have a slight advantage in the coaching department, but just missing a few pieces still, and so hard to do without Ricky Rubio, who was playing great. There's a lot of pressure on Mitchell to make plays and to pass when necessary, whereas maybe he's better on the ball just as a primary scorer. So we're learning. We're still a young team as far as playoff experience. But we got routed yesterday. We were down by 30 at one point. The Vivint Smart Home Arena was quiet, very quiet.
Do you ever get irrationally mad when teams are shooting a lot of threes and making them? Almost like you feel like they're cheating in some sort of way. Like if it was a video game that you were playing against this team, you would be mad because they shouldn't be hitting all these threes. There are times like I do. I get just irrationally angry about the amount of threes a team I don't like is hitting, like the Rockets. I just don't want them making them. Every time they shoot, I'm like, oh God, miss. But they don't. They make so freaking many of them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't get mad like that. I get mad with the way they try to draw fouls on the threes. And
God, that arm thing. I thought that they got rid of that this year, but that's all Harden does.
Yep, they said they were gonna keep an eye out for it, and He finds a way.
Yeah, they are. They're calling fouls for it. That's what they're keeping an eye on.
It's such horseshit. I hate that so much. He just, if he's coming through his screen, he'll kind of like, sometimes he'll get his arm caught in the screen and then kind of flail and make it seem like, he's being affected by it. Man, that shit makes you furious when you see that.
These are some of the strongest athletes in the world, and they can go up for a fucking slam or a contested shot or anything they want to, and they can just be as powerful as they want to be. God forbid their arm gets caught in a rogue screen or something, and they are down on the ground. They are flopping like nobody's business, but it's ridiculous. And Harden is the worst about that shit.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, may I digress for a moment?
Please.
So I have the opportunity in my 9 to 5. I work with people that are sometimes younger than me, sometimes, early 20s, late teens. So I'm often exposed to some music and pop culture things that I may not experience myself. Now,
do they non-ironically say things like lit and AF?
Well, yeah, kind of things like that. And as you know, I'm a basketball fan, so I casually will bring up basketball in conversation sometime. I brought up the Jazz. I brought up James Harden and a coworker, a young fellow I was working with. I will leave his name out of it for security reasons. He told me that James Harden, Greg, is actually cursed by a fellow named the Based God.
Yes.
Are you familiar with this story at all?
No, I know of the Based God, but I didn't know that he had put some sort of hex on your boy.
Yeah, apparently he is some type of shaman musician, and he put a curse on James Harden because Harden stole his cooking dance.
Oh shit, chefing it up?
His celebration, I guess, is stolen.
Yeah, his little thing he does.
I guess that's a stolen dance move from this rapper. Now, Greg, I must double digress now. I had the opportunity of listening to some of the music that this guy has championed, and it's bad, Greg. It's like really, really, really bad. And
I have no doubt about that.
If you're telling me that this is what kids listen to now, and I told this guy, I was like, what the fuck are you listening to? And he told me that he's like, this is like, he had all kinds of nicknames for this guy, and I don't remember any of them. And I'm like, bro, the fuck is this? This is like distorted, weird ass elevator, like rock back and forth while you're crying music. It was fucking disgusting.
You mean Lil B?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what he said. But this guy has cursed James Harden, he says, and James Harden will never win an NBA championship until this curse is lifted.
Wow. He must have been very happy last year when James Harden was crawling around on the floor looking for his mouthpiece in Game 6 or whatever the hell game that was when they were getting knocked out.
That's all part of the curse, Greg.
Yeah. Look at his Twitter profile. Mogul, first rapper ever to write and publish a book at 19. Film score, composer, producer, director, photo, branding, marketing, historical online figure.
Get the fuck out of here. What are we doing?
Giver of curses is not listed there.
Shaman.
Hexer.
Level 6 shaman.
For real. Oh my God. So there you go. That's culture right now.
You learn something new every day. Yeah, this is what's floating around out there, kids. Be safe.
Well, so I think it'll be good for the Based God that the Warriors are whooping up on the Pelicans, and they're going to win the series. I don't think that it's going to be a shock to anyone. The Pelicans will, get maybe one more game, but I don't think that's why everyone's focused on the series right now. The biggest news seems to be about Mr. Rajon Rondo, who's playing awesome. There's nothing better to watch than Rondo when he's playing well. Love a good point guard. He's all about passing. Taking way too many shots, though. I saw a hilarious meme last night, which is, another thing that these young kids like to do, of what the crowd does every time Rondo goes to shoot. And it was a person like cowering in fear because he's just not a great shooter. But he's trying. And what is he trying? What's going on right now with Mr. Rondo?
Well, Rondo, who, as you said, playing great basketball right now. The Pelicans grabbed a game last night. They are down 2-1 to the Warriors. He has assembled a little squad, Greg, little team of people, chef, nutritionist, trainer, and they have developed a shake that he drinks at halftime. And he says it's really turned his shit around. Like he's energized and it's given him what he needs to perform at an elite level. And he shared the recipe. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to. You know what? Dudes used to smoke cigarettes, drink beer at halftime and shit. So I think we'll have to say the league's a little more competitive now than it ever was.
I love the smoking in the locker room stories. But yeah, so the Rondo shake. Blueberries, avocados, bananas, spinach, whey protein, collagen peptides, green tea matcha, chia seeds, hemp seeds, little honey, little floater honey, Greg, and then some chocolate almond milk. And you mix it all together, you blend it together. Down the hatch, you got some Rajon Rondo buckets heading your way.
All right, so now I break down these ingredients and I have many questions. All right, so the chocolate almond milk is obviously the base because out of everything
Love
here,
that
I mean,
stuff.
that's what he's starting with, right? Which is horrific to start with.
It's not Greg. Chocolate almond milk is delicious.
Get out of here. No, fake news. All right. Hemp seeds, he's not failing any tests over that, is he? Now, I just don't know how the whole testing regimen goes.
No.
No? Hemp seeds are completely legit.
You buy them in the fucking grocery store.
All right. Well, whatever. In California, you can buy all sorts of shit in stores, and that's legit. So I'm just saying, I don't know. Whatever. Chia seeds. Now, you can eat that shit? The last thing I remember about chia was chia, not like you eat them. Who eats them? What are they? What do they look like?
They are little tiny seeds. I'd say they're about twice the size of a poppy seed, which you see in New York on top of bagels.
Yep, good comparison there.
I actually had a bag in my fridge, and
you have to fridge them.
Yeah, you keep them in the refrigerator, and I would put them in my yogurt and stir them in my yogurt, and they don't really have a strong flavor, but they're good for you.
Do you ever smear them on top of various pottery? That's shaped like people or anything. Do you ever do that?
No.
Water it occasionally. Okay. What is green tea matcha?
Green tea matcha. It's a Japanese powder. It's just that. It's green tea and
like a Rondo with the cultural appropriation.
Sometimes they make different types of ice creams and stuff you see with green tea.
Yep.
I've seen it in Japanese restaurants. You get a little bit in a little like a little dish of the green tea, and you can sprinkle it on top of things, and it has a certain flavor, and it's pleasant enough.
Okay, now we get to the ingredients that I don't know where one would get these. What is collagen protein, and what are collagen peptides, and why and how would a person come across these? And then put them in a shake and say, well, this is what I need to be drinking at halftime.
Right. These ingredients, Greg, have been increasing in popularity over the past several years, I'd say. And as you know, bone broth has been a very popular consumable in the past several years for its restored.
People have been eating the bones of animals for tens of thousands of years, JT.
the preparation of bone broth in a particular fashion to be consumed for restorative qualities is kind of a trend we've been riding the past several years. And the core principle...
Isn't that the kind of thinking, though, that's gotten tigers almost extinct? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh God, we need the bones and the broth of the bones to, it's always some sort of bullshit thing that it corrects, but whatever. Please continue.
I don't know why we're eating tigers all of a sudden. And
we're not eating tigers, but it's the same justification. Like, oh, it's very good. You just need to boil the bones, and it's just the broth of the bones will do whatever for you.
But why can't we use cows and chickens, Greg? Why do we have to use tigers?
I know. That's what I mean. Why couldn't we just fool these people? Does anybody really know if they're getting good tiger broth compared to, like you said, beef?
Jesus Christ, Greg. I feel like we're having two different conversations right now.
My point more is I don't understand where you get collagen, and it makes me uncomfortable. How about that?
Let me fucking tell you, and I will tell you where they're coming from. It's not coming from tigers, you fucking fuck.
I don't like it. I'm pro-tiger.
They use the bones of chickens and cows primarily, and the idea is that, as you terribly alluded to, that the for us to restore and rebuild microfibers and muscle tissue and stuff, we just need that base ingredient of muscle fibers and tissue. That's why Kobe Bryant is such a bone broth advocate. It's a restorative process that you're kind of like feeding your body these ingredients that can rebuild these certain, as I said, blah, blah, blah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll sum it up as Kobe Bryant, no friend of the tiger.
Yeah, I'm sure people got a lot out of that talk. That was fucking just clear as day.
I can't tell you how much I learned. All right. We got one other thing real quick. The Knicks announcing a new head coach. Now, I guess the Knicks are trying to go at least 500 again next year. Getting your man David Fizdale in there. So, what's your feelings? Is this just they had to hire someone? I mean, he's not the worst coach. He's not the worst coach in the league, but I mean, this is not a guy that's had a great track record of success. So I think his best thing was that press conference where he said that incoherent phrase. And what was it? I'll show you data. What the hell was it? I don't even remember. It was just completely incoherent. But it was.
God, you're shitting on everyone today. It wasn't incoherent what he said. He said, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but at one point you said, "Don't rook me, like don't treat me like a rookie, like I'm no."
Yeah, well that everybody knows that line. All right, here, just talk for a minute. I'm going to find this thing.
So David Fizdale, I've seen mixed reactions from him being announced as the new head coach of the New York Knicks. Things that are positive about him, with the exception of Marc Gasol, who might be an anomaly in this case, is that he has good player relationship skills, and that he also does well with the media, which is something that a New York coach is going to be doing a lot of scrutiny. You're going to be under the microscope 24/7.
Yep, and this is a good time right here just to say I'm going to play the clip right now of David Fizdale in his classic moment.
Go for it.
But I'm not going to let them treat us that way. You know, I know Pop's got pedigree and I'm a young rookie, but they're not going to rook us. That's unacceptable. That was unprofessional. My guys dug in that game and earned the right to be in that game, and they did not even give us a chance.
All right, thank you.
Take that for data.
All right, yeah, there you go. Take that for data. Oh, what does that mean? Take that for data? Like, oh, gosh, just so good. I love a good rant. It doesn't even have to be coherent. It's just classic.
Well, as a New York resident, Greg, how do you feel about this being him being the new coach of your local team?
I think if he's going to be the one that's on TV talking after the game, much more interesting than Jeff Hornacek. I mean, if I happen to flip by, I don't ever intentionally watch a Knicks game, but if I see him on, I'm not going to change the channel because of him. He's probably a good coach. He's probably perfect for what they need right now. But this is not saying that they're going for the gold or they're going to win a lot of games or they're really, turning around. It just says they're, staying the course that they're on.
Listen, you have you have a player of a generation in Kristaps Porzingis, and he might not play next year. That's a strong possibility. So I would say that Fizdale needs to focus on that relationship, feel Kristaps out. I mean, figuratively, see what's going on.
Giggity.
Try to formulate a plan and go from there, because you have one tremendous asset in New York in Porzingis, and Trey Burke was playing pretty good last year. As fucking weird as that is to say. They have some pieces that they can work with. Let's see what he can do. Let's give him a fucking chance, Craig. Shit on his parade already. They could have done worse.
Certainly. I think this goes to what we said last week, though, that they couldn't get a superstar coach because there would be too many results expected immediately, and the Knicks just aren't capable of doing that. They couldn't announce just a nobody because that's just saying that the Knicks have given up, and that's completely unacceptable, especially in New York. So this is kind of in the middle. I think that it's a good compromise between things. Not a superstar coach, but he's a name people know. It'd be good in the media. So let's, I'll hope for the best for him, but I hate the Knicks, so whatever. All right, you can have about 20 seconds for this for this next part. All right, we don't usually do this, but I know there's a very exciting thing going on in JT's life, so I wanted to give him an opportunity to talk about it. The clock goes starting now.
A little pop culture detour, Greg. I wanted to talk about a fantastic television series that debuted Wednesday night on YouTube Red called Cobra Kai. This is the what?
Oh my God. How far we've fallen. No, please continue.
Now, this is the continuation of the Karate Kid stories. And if I could just set the table for a moment, the Karate Kid lineage is not a straight path. There's a couple bumps in the road.
If you're talking about lineage, you've moved way beyond your 20 seconds. But I'm just fine. Just go, please.
I just want everyone to not think about the Will Smith, Jackie Chan Karate Kid
first
movie.
thing that came into my head. The first thing. I almost text you a picture of that because no, it's part of the canon, JT. That's what you do. You release a movie, that's it. Same thing with Rocky V. You can't act like it doesn't exist. It's right there.
I can't believe you said those words.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I threw it down on the table. So
bear with me. Now we begin in...
I've been bearing with you for about 3 minutes now, but please continue.
Just we're continuing the story primarily of Karate Kid 1. Daniel LaRusso versus Johnny Lawrence. The movie explores the relationship between those two. We bring in Mr. Miyagi. We all love him. And the movie finishes with the All Valley under 18 karate tournament. What a movie. I won't give away the ending because I don't want to spoil it for someone that hasn't listened.
Yeah, what a movie about 32 years ago.
34.
Oh my God.
So now Cobra Kai continues that story, that rivalry between Johnny and Daniel. And Greg, they knocked it out of the park. It was fantastic. They included just the right amount of nostalgia. They didn't take themselves too seriously. Nobody
else was gonna.
They gave us exactly what we were looking for. It was funny too. The acting was top notch. It was amazing. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. It's got all the feels that you need. Brilliant job. Bravo. Bravo.
Wow. That is shocking. All right, well, there you go. So check that out. I know I won't, but I hope everyone else decides to. All right, let's get into Flashback here. We're flashing back to May 5th, 2010. All right, JT, we are flashing back here to the Phoenix Suns making national headlines on May 5th, 2010, when they donned jerseys emblazoned with Los Suns. They were worn to celebrate the diversity on Cinco de Mayo, which is today, so happy Cinco de Mayo to you as well. According to team owner Robert Sarver, but there was also a protest to the immigration law that had been signed by Arizona's governor at the time. So all sorts of stuff going on there, but a little acknowledgement of Cinco de Mayo on today, May 5th. And they still wear those jerseys sometimes, the Phoenix Suns, so they didn't really ever put those away after they got them going.
Yeah, Los Suns, que bueno.
Los Suns. The Suns' record is no bueno. All right. I think it's time for predictions, JT. All right. Here's one going back to my boy, David Fizdale. You think the Knicks, the now David Fizdale-led New York Knicks, can have a winning record this year?
Whew. Winning record, Greg. They only won 31 games this year, so a winning record would, is that about 11 more wins. Can the Knicks add 11 more wins? I don't think so. If Porzingis is out, I think they might even lose more.
You beat me to it. I was going to say without Porzingis, tell me how many of those games they would have won.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough first year for Fizdale.
Maybe they'll have a great draft like last year. Oh wait,
cold today, Greg. You're ice cold.
Just yeah. I don't like the Knicks. I don't like the Celtics.
You don't like Karate Kid?
For real. Oh, God. Just, I tried to rewatch Karate Kid a couple years ago because I'm like, why am I like the only person who doesn't know references to this movie and things like, I felt like, especially hanging around with you, I need to watch this movie or at least have some sort of awareness. Maybe got halfway through. Maybe. It wasn't good. I didn't get to the part that was so, I guess, that keeps you coming back. I did not get there. I did not enjoy it, but that's just me. I'm a tough customer.
Greg, what are some of your favorite movies?
So if I had to list, like, let's say, what kind of movies Karate Kid?
Don't try too hard now.
Yeah, but what's the genre of Karate Kid? So, like, if I'm going to give you, like, my equivalent.
Probably, drama.
God, a good drama.
Here we go. Let me guess. You're going to pick some obscure ass fucking old movie from like the early 70s that nobody gives a shit about.
Like I was hoping like Karate Kid kind of was like an action movie because like my favorite action movie, if I had to pick one, and we always say we're completely off topic at this point, but I think the best action movie I've seen in a long time in like years and years and years is Pacific Rim. I loved Pacific Rim. There's my irrational like.
Can we cut his feed, Mitch?
Don't hit that button, Mitch. Don't touch it. Yeah, no. I think that was a good movie. Especially because I expected it to be horrific. And I was like, wow, that's actually pretty good.
Pacific Rim was okay. But like when you're talking about Karate Kid, you're like, I don't really like Karate Kid. I'm more a Pacific Rim kind of guy.
Yeah, for real. But I'm not really a Pacific Rim kind of guy. My point more is I don't like the Karate Kid. I didn't think it was good. I don't like E.T. either. I think E.T. is one of the most overrated movies ever made.
E.T. blows.
Right? That's how I feel about the Karate Kid. It's just like, what are we doing here? What the hell am I watching this for?
You might just not like movies from that era.
And you son of a bitch, you got us back on the Karate Kid somehow. I had put that shit in the dustbin. I was off and moving, and here it comes back from the dead. Unbelievable.
I like it, Greg, because the character Johnny, he's always like telling his students they need to listen to more 80s rock. He's like, listen to some Rat or some Guns N' Roses. What the hell's wrong with you kids?
If you guys aren't playing Round and Round, you suck.
It's like, well, I don't know. I was just on Facebook. He's like, what the hell's a Facebook? He's like totally stuck in the 80s. It's so great.
There you go. All right. Well, another great episode there, JT.
Yeah, I think maybe we should do more movie reviews.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to. or at least we'll try to help you watch less series that you want to talk about. We'll have less nostalgia series, hopefully, and then we can cut this out. That was a lot of time on Cobra Kai. A lot of promo, though, on YouTube, though, I must say. They've been jamming that shit down my throat.
Let's keep it going. People love it.
We already getting emails. More Cobra Kai reviews, please. We're going to break it down episode by episode over the next couple weeks. Don't you worry. All right. We're going to be back next week with another episode with less Cobra Kai. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at Double Dribblers or email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or Google Play. And until next week, we'll see you on the internet.